Good morning, everyone. It's Sarah, your ELA here for this fabulous unit, Planning for Career Success for the Spring Teaching Period. I'm really excited to have you all on board and can't wait to get to know you over the course of the next almost 7 weeks we've got left. So we are now at the tail end of week 2, and I thought I'd do this quick video just to give you a couple of quick pointers along the way and to highlight a couple of menus or sections within our unit specifically that you might find particularly helpful as you prepare your first assignment in particular. So we have your first assignment due on Monday, and this is the self-reflection. We discussed this at length in the Collaborate session we did last week. So for some of those of you that weren't able to attend, I've posted a link for the session, the recording. You can listen to the session and watch that. And I've posted that in the Assessment 1 discussion area, and there's also the slides for you then to look at too. I will screenshot a few of those slides in particular to help you. I spoke a bit about the quizzes and how they're really handy, because what they do is they help you form the response for your first assignment too. So we'll step through those in a minute. So a couple of key areas I'd like you to keep an eye on, particularly within the unit, is the announcements page. So I will generally on a weekly basis post a specific announcement. So these are updates for you to keep an eye on. So this is where you'll find all sorts of important information for you in there as well. And you can see that sometimes they will have a little attachment for you to look at too. So for this one here, it's the recording and the slides for our Collaborate session. And in here you'll find the slides specifically. So that's a good area to keep an eye on as well too. In my Welcome podcast you will have listened to, I spoke about starting at the syllabus, which is a really good idea too. So as you work through each module, what the idea is for your first assessment that's due on Monday, you'll work through, if we just scroll down a bit here too, so we're starting off with knowing yourself. As you work through each of these sections, it really forms a basis for your first assignment. And then you'll see you come to the quizzes as well here. So for example, if we jump into what are my attributes and skills? When you look at the assignment guidelines, so the self-reflection, what it asks you to have a look at is what are your attributes and skills? So you work through this part, you watch this video, and then you have a look at this other section to assess some ideas along the way as well. And it gives you a couple of options. You don't have to do all of these. I mean, the way this unit is set up is that some people are probably at different stages of their careers as well too in their studies. So some of these things may not be relevant for you, but it gives you a really good overview along the way. And then what we do now is you click on Next, which is below the screen, I'm sorry, and then you do the quiz for this section. So your screen will look a little bit different to mine because I'm the unit coordinator. So you click on that Take the Quiz button that you'll see your end, and then you do that. And then at the end, what you can do is if you jump into the quiz menu specifically, as you've worked through each one, it saves what you've done. So then it forms the content for each of your assignments. So if you go back into all of these, so 1.6 to 1.14 are the ones that will help you answer those questions for assignment 1. So hopefully that will really help form the bones for you and make things a little bit easier too. Another key area I'd love you to focus on is jump in here as often as you can to the discussions area. So this is where you can ask questions of each other or myself around any of the modules. So firstly, if you haven't done so yet, jump into this introductions discussion and introduce yourself. I can see that Helen has joined us this week, which is just fabulous news. So we scroll down here in introductions. Just tell us a bit about yourself, what you're hoping to get out of the unit. So we've heard from Charles, Janelle, Craig, and now Helen this morning, which is just fantastic. So I'll reply to Helen shortly, and please all feel free to chat to each other in here. The more discussion we can have here, the more it will make for a richer learning experience for you as well. So the next discussion area, if we just click back down to next, it should take us to, so a lot of you are probably new to Canvas, and I am too, so I'm feeling my way as well too. You'll see throughout the modules as well, we have a wonderful section called Ask Our Experts. So these are 3 fabulous industry experts that you'll get to know during the course of the teaching period. Melissa, Shane, and Simon. And they will give you some really good insights as to their ideas and how, you know, planning for career success can be of great benefit for you. I'm ducking back into our discussions area too to show you some other areas I'd like you to focus on here. Module 1, for example, this is an open discussion forum. So if you've got any questions that relate to the module that you've just covered, Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, Module 4, please please ask them here. And that way we can keep them all linked into the one little area. So you'll see down here, I've just said, please use this space to ask any questions you have around Module 1 and 2. So to reply, you just click on reply to that thread, or you click on the top one as well too, specifically. So the other fabulous discussions area where I'd love to see you asking a few more questions too is around for each assignment. So there's one for each one for assignment 1, 2, and 3. And as you probably had a look ahead, assignment 3 is part 1 and part 2. So something to remember with all of these assignments, what you're working together, particularly for this final assignment, is you're going to put together what's called a career action plan. And everything you do in assignment 1 and assignment 2, so modules 1, 2, 3, and 4, will help you form that career action plan as well too. So if we now jump into assignment 1 Q&A, so this is where I'd love you to ask me any questions about, you know, how you're going with the assignment that's due in a couple of days. So you've got the weekend too, which is fabulous to pull that all together. So this is where you can ask some specific questions. This morning I've just reposted our link to the Collaborate session because it seemed to be broken up here. It didn't work for me. I don't know if it hasn't worked for you. As well too. So please ask any questions here, and you'll find me ducking in and just asking you some prompting questions too, just to get a bit of discussion going. So the more that we jump in here and try and help each other out, the more you'll get out of it too, and you'll start to feel really comfortable working with Canvas. It is it's new to me, as I just mentioned as well, so it is quite a handy tool, and it's quite intuitive stepping through each section. So if we have a look at the Collaborate menu, so in Collaborate, this is where you'll find the links to our Collaborate sessions. I will shortly, in the next few days, post a schedule for you of all of our sessions as well. So we will use this one room throughout. So to access our session, we'll have our next session. I'm just looking at my calendar in week 7. So next week, on Thursday next week, we'll have our next session. So I'll post that up for you as well, and you jump into that, and that's how you join the session. I will always post the recordings links for you, but another way to find them is here. If you click on this menu and go into recordings. Now for some reason it's not showing a recent recording. I'll see if I can look into that further, but you can find it by going into like selecting arrange, and we actually did the session back about the 24th. So here it is here. So you'll see the 27th. So if you click on view recording, that will take you to the link. And then if I just move my screen over, you can also download it here as well too. So try not to touch the trash box, of course, too, because that will delete it for everyone. And then to submit your assignment that's due on Monday, if you go into the assignments area, and this is where you'll find all of your details for all of the assignments, so 1, 2, 3, Part A and Part B. So we click on Assignment 1. Now, bearing in mind, your screen might look a little bit different as well. So each of these are little drop-down menus which give you some specific details. And then if you scroll right down the bottom, it will have Assignment Inbox, and this is where you click on that. So I'm not too sure if your screen looks like this. So it's telling me there's nothing there yet. I'm not expecting anything anyway, but this is where you submit it. And this is where you go through the actual submission process and you'll come up with an originality report which looks at common phrases and common words as well. And around that too, what you'll find in the Help Hub over here, we click on the Help Hub, there's some really good study resources. So if you have a look at the study resources area, which takes you to your student portal, there's some great resources on how to submit, how to work in Canvas in particular too, but also some really good ideas around looking at plagiarism and things like that and how to avoid it too. One really fun thing I'd like you to have a look at is, see up the top here, I've got my funny photo of Kenny and I. See if you can set up your profile. So see if you can all post up a photo. It's really nice to put a face to a name, which is why I've got the video going in the bottom right hand screen so you can see me as I'm chatting too. But this is where you put all your details and bits and pieces. So have a go. Just click on this account section and have a bit of a play with that as well too. So overall, specifically, I think there's some, it should be quite straightforward for you to step through these modules, but in particular, make sure you do the quizzes as you go. So as you work through each module, if you've just jumped online, that's perfectly fine. Start with this welcome area. In particular, what I'd really love you to get your head around too, and I spoke about this in the Collaborate session, was throughout this unit we have some really great resources that link you back to Swinburne, which is just wonderful. And there's this really, really cool career hub with all sorts of interesting information in there. So what I would recommend you do, see if you can follow these steps here and see if you can log into Swin Employ. And then I actually save it as a bookmark in my browser. So when you're working through the body of the modules, they'll often refer you. You'll need to go to the Swin Employ area, the Careers Hub, and if you've got it actually saved in your browser, it should sort of go through quite seamlessly. But there are a few tips along here for any troubleshooting you've got along the way too. And the student advisors can always help you out with that in particular, or ask each other here in your discussions, in one of your discussions area. It doesn't matter which one you put it in. I don't mind at all. There's only, we've only got a handful of us, which is really nice. So it's a nice personal group as well too. Going back to the announcements, what I'd really like you to have a bit of a look at too is we had a really good Collaborate session that the student advisors ran on how to use Canvas. So this was in the first week, so it was very early on and you wouldn't have probably had a chance to have a look at it. But click on this link here and there are some really good tips in this in the recording of this session, and you can, and then down the bottom further, sorry, I'll just move my page down a bit further, right down the bottom of this an announcement is the PDF of the slides as well too. So have a look at those too. So there's some really good tips in there on how to submit, how to work your way through Canvas in particular. So I hope that all makes great sense. Keep an eye on the announcements page. I will send you emails and they will often go into your inbox. So when I do, I'm just trying to work out which emails you're getting, if you're getting UC announcements. So when you get an email from me, could you please reply to it just to make sure that I get it? Because I haven't really heard back yet as to whether you're getting my emails, and I'd really love it if we could. So this is, this is where you go into the inbox here too. All right. There's also some other really fun, functionalities you can look at, like the calendar here as well too. I haven't had a proper play with it yet, but it tells me what we've got coming up, what's due, and you can have multiple units in there as well too. So overall, I look forward to working with you over the course of the next 6-7 weeks we've got together. Please sing out and ask me any questions you have at any point in time. So look forward to seeing you next Thursday at 8 p.m. for our next Collaborate session on assignment 2. And I hope all goes well this weekend as you pull together your response for assignment 1 that's due this Monday, the 7th of November at 5 o'clock. Thanks everyone. Okay, see you soon. Bye.